Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friends of Fury podcast. I'm Case. I'm with Michael and our very nasty guest today, Nate. Nasty Nate. Man, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good, boys. How are y'all tonight?
Oh, doing great, man. Yeah. So we want to kick it off with your early beginnings in wrestling. What got you started in wrestling, or what interested you as a kid, or anything of that nature?
So, man, I was blessed with a father that loves wrestling.
Okay.
So if you ask my dad, I've been watching wrestling since I was like yay big. He had a cigarette in his hand too. So I came out of the womb, loved wrestling, and with the stench of cigarette smoke, and it all just kind of flowed in. But like I call it the light bulb moment. February 1998. I was lucky enough to attend WWF No Way Out of Texas.
Okay.
And the glass broke.
Oh.
The glass broke. And being in the crowd when that glass broke and Stone Cold Steve Austin made his way into the ring.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the bug, man. That was the bug. And so that's been the only option for me ever since. So that was like when I was 8 or 9 years old. Never wanted to throw a touchdown, never wanted to hit the home run, never wanted to hit the game-winning three. I wanted to be a wrestler.
Man, that's fantastic. And so I'm obviously younger. I never really got to experience Stone Cold in his time. So I never got to experience just the glass breaking and going insane. But as we interview more and more people, that always seem to be the same thing, that the glass breaks, everyone goes insane, like you can't contain yourself. So I guess what I'm asking is Stone Cold at least in your top 5 all time?
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah. Without Stone Cold Steve Austin and that whole 1998 year, I wouldn't. I don't know. It sounds so crazy, but it's the truth. I don't know who I would be. Like, there are some guys, even guys that are currently working, that if you listen to their story, you'll start hearing the same stories. Watched wrestling as a kid, watched it a little bit longer, hit middle school, and we don't talk about it so much. Yeah. High school, nope, nothing. That wasn't my story. Everybody knew I was the wrestling guy from the time I was in kindergarten until, and I mean, even today, if anybody in my group of friends and brothers and sisters has like a wrestling question or sees something about wrestling, I'm always the one they come to. So for me, like I said, it was never another option. I actually started training to wrestle when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so we used to drive almost an hour and a half in the middle of 5 o'clock traffic from high school. We would get out at 4 o'clock and make it all the way across San Antonio in like an hour and a half for training at like 6 or 7. Oh. And I did that for, almost my entire junior and senior year. And then I got discouraged. And then things got super, super rough. I started focusing on what was right in front of me versus what I wanted to do with my entire life. And so I quit. Throughout my early 20s, I still watched wrestling, was still a giant fan, but I'd given up on my dream. And I got married. I almost had kids. I almost bought a house. I had a career. Like, a salary, bonuses. I was on the path, like, white picket fence, dog and house. And my ex-wife now, wife at the time, she asked me, are we ready to have kids? Are we ready to buy a house? And I looked at her and was like, no, if we have kids, if I buy a house, there goes wrestling.
Oh, and the dream goes.
Yeah, dude. And I was, again, super blessed that my ex-wife was understanding enough that she was like, okay, this is your dream. You have to go for it. And so we put all the money that we had put aside, like to start purchasing a house, we used to enroll in wrestling school.
Okay, that's pretty awesome, really.
Yeah. So I mean, super like massive shout out to my ex-wife, because without her, none of this would have ever been possible.
Oh, that's fantastic. Mike, what you thinking, bud?
Wow, Nasty Nate. Nate Nasty, thank you for coming on the show, man. I just want to preface by saying we normally have a few other co-hosts that aren't here tonight. Jeffrey, Forrest, and Carl. They will be watching, and hopefully we'll have them back on for the next show. So that's a very deeply personal story. But I want to ask you too. The last show, Strictly Business, was our first Dog Pound Championship Wrestling show. Can you tell us about how you got involved at the Dog Pound Dojo, your experience there, and how it led up to Strictly Business?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, who were the two guys that didn't choose me to win the Battle Royal? Because I know that three of the five went the right way.
Yeah.
And the other two guys, the slime balls, they decided to go for Mr. Gotti, who did end up winning due to a technicality.
That's not the
okay.
That's a good question. We'll have to get back to you on that. That definitely was a split battle royale.
Yeah, no. So if you actually watch the footage back, you'd see in that sequence that me and Xavier were going head to head, 1-on-1 in the final four. He actually kicks my foot from the second rope, which is why I slipped on the moonsault, and then he takes advantage and throws me out. So in reality, I know that he comes across as this really good guy, but Xavier Gotti's kind of a scumbag. And he almost ended my life and my career before any of this ever got to like fully started. That's number one. So to the two slime balls that didn't choose me to win the Battle Royal, I know that y'all are making y'all's way around the Texas Loop, and I know that y'all are coming in October at the very end, the 30th at the Nightmare on the Woodlawn. And I just want to let those two slime balls know I've got something for them.
Oh.
All right. And not only do I have this for them, I've also got it for Haas Holding, Xavier Gotti, and anybody else that wants some. Now going to the second part of your question, Mike. Can I call you Mike? I don't care.
Yes,
I'm calling
Mike's
you Mike.
Perfect.
I know it's perfect. It's the name I've dubbed you. So I actually trained at, like I said, I trained in high school under a few different guys. When me and the ex-wife started this journey, which is what I consider like part 2 of my journey, we started at a different training school. And that is actually, at that training school was where Rodney Mack and Jazz were when I met them. And that's how I met Rodney Mack and Jazz. And then they went off and they opened up the Dog Pound Championship Wrestling Dojo. And I stayed at my training facility for a little while longer. And then very recently, I mean, end of August is when I hit up Rodney. And first week of September is when I entered into the dojo. And it was a completely different atmosphere. It's probably, I don't want to say probably, it is by far the best training atmosphere that I've been around in almost 15 years. The way that we get instructed, the way that he teaches us is so Mr. Miyagi.
Okay.
Now it's so funny though, because like everybody has this impression of who Rodney Mack and Jazz are. Well, now Jazz is Jazz, all right? Yeah. She'll slap you, hit you, yell at you, and she's just direct, blunt, straight to the point. But Coach Rodney is so much more of Mr. Miyagi. He's going to say things, and it's up to you to listen to him and pick up and then apply what he's saying.
Gotcha. You have to interpret it correctly.
Yeah. And then what I think is the coolest part about it all is that if you don't interpret it correctly, there's a lot of coaches, not in just wrestling, but in life, that are kind of like, they're jerks about it. Like they're real a-holes. And Coach Rodney, he's not so much of an a-hole as he is sarcastic. It's just so dry. He's like just dry, like, damn. You ain't think about that? You really didn't think about that. Like, you didn't think that if you did A, B, and C was gonna happen to you right after. Come on, man. You know, but at the same time, he's tough. Yeah. I mean, on my very first night, we did a slap drill out of nowhere because he wanted to show us this specific like technique. He wanted to show us this mindset. And so the only way to do that was a slap drill. And this is my very first night at the dojo. And for those that are unfamiliar with the slap drill, you stand in a circle and put your head out and get slapped across the face.
Ah, yes.
It's very akin to a boxer like chin drill. Hands behind your back and get slapped across the face by the Red Dog Rodney Mack. I was the first one in the ring. He was like, I want everyone to line up and we're gonna do a slap drill. Nobody kind of moves because we're not sure if he's kidding. And he's like, what are y'all waiting for? Get in the ring. Yeah. And I'm the first one in the ring, first one with my chin there. And then what I think is cool about Rodney and the way that Rodney trains is if you're gonna give it, you have to learn how to take it, and vice versa. So he wasn't just standing us in a circle and slapping the crap out of us. He also looked at us all and said, give it back to me now.
Okay.
So literally sticking his chin out and saying, slap me next. Mm-hmm. And so I reared back and gave him my best hit because forget that, man. He's slapping me in the face.
Yeah, just slapped the mess out of me.
Yeah, no. Dude, literally, so he busted open one guy. Just busted it open. And I was like, okay, bet. If that's how we're going to play here in the dog pound, then I'm down to play like that.
Yeah. If you don't play, don't play.
That's your one chance to slap coach. You got to get it right.
And the worst part was that, like, if you weren't slapping him to his liking, he slaps you harder.
Oh, until you get fired up.
Yeah, until you get it back. Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what, guys. He only needed one from me to know that I was in the zone.
There you go. Hey, you got to respect that, definitely. I mean, but if someone slaps you, you got to hit them with the goods back.
That's right. And so I was actually asked to be a part of Strictly Business the very first night of my training.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool. The training facility that I was at before the dog pound was run a little bit differently. They had a kind of a different mindset. And so over there, I was not considered, I guess, ready. Oh. I guess that's the way to put it, is that those coaches over there did not think that I was ready. And being in the dog pound for one night, 3 hours, Coach Rodney was like, you are ready and I want you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a giant leap of faith on the first night. And so we're literally walking out to my car and I'm smoking a cigarette. We're talking. He's going to give me flyers to pass out for the show. And he looks at me and he goes, do you have boots? Do you have gear? Mm-hmm. Are you like ready to like be a professional freaking wrestler? Mm-hmm. And I'm all deer in the headlights, dude. I'm like, no. I don't have boots. I don't have gear. That's what I'm like in my head. I tell him I'll get it all by next week. Mm. And so for the entire weekend, I am like online. I'm on the phone. I'm about writing people letters. I need these boots and I need this gear and I need it by the 25th of September. And it's September 3rd.
Oh.
So, I mean, shipping fees. The shipping fees alone was like the entirety of like oh man, there went the rest of it all. But like they tell you to stay ready. And so that was the first lesson I actually learned from Rodney, was that night, was you're not ready in one sense, but in the other sense, you are ready. Because with that one lesson, with that one talk, I learned just immensely immediately, there's more to this business than just getting it done in the ring. There's more to being an actual professional wrestler than just learning how to bump and run the ropes and do everything that we do. And it literally took, and he never told me this. He never broke down those words, there's a difference. But with that one question, I'm understanding now, oh snap, there's a big difference.
Yeah, that's kind of like what we said earlier. You interpreted it correctly, you know.
Right.
He's not gonna dance around it. He's just gonna, you know, he's gonna let you figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. I actually personally I went to like a training camp type ordeal with a different company. Rodney had run training camps for it. And he didn't personally teach me because it was obviously my first day. He didn't want to mess with me. But I actually did get to talk to him afterward. And just talking to Rodney Mack just about wrestling, I mean, that's just cool, you know.
Right.
And like I had taken a bump and, you know, I have to pretend like it didn't hurt. You know, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then afterward, I'm like, shit. I'm like, you know, maybe.
And Case will gladly tell you that is his last training event that he will go to.
Well, dude, you know, that's a real thing though. So there was a guy at the other training camp the other training facility that I was at who, dude, looks like $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could put my body to shreds. Yeah. And literally they're teaching him how to roll. And he's just rolling and he's rolling and he's rolling. And for anybody listening that has never been to like a professional wrestling training, you roll a lot. Okay. He's rolling for like 10 minutes, steps out of the ring, goes out the back door and just hurls up everything.
Oh no.
And we're like, dude, you look like Adonis. What?
How does
you're out here puking? Yeah. And so that was like his shtick. Like literally every training class after the rolls, he'd have to go puke. And so, you know, and it's not that he was a bad guy, not that he wasn't tough. It's just his body wasn't ready to be twisting and moving and doing all of that.
It was sculpted. It wasn't too flexible.
Wow. Yeah. Rob Van Dam, he was not.
All right. Yeah. So Nate, take us back to that night. Strictly Business. The Battle Royale was the first match of the night. I remember it clearly. All of us here on the podcast, we were sitting front row. All of you guys come out at the same time. The bell rings with everyone in the ring. Take us back to that moment. What was going through your mind, especially considering at a different training camp, you were told you weren't ready. Rodney sees you and says, I want you in that match. Tell us, bring us back to that night.
So what you guys and anybody listening has to remember is that that's actually my first professional match. Mm-hmm. And so there's nervousness, there's being terrified. You invite all your people out, right? And you're like
section.
I definitely had a good amount of people, but like, you don't know what to expect. You don't know how long you're going to last in this battle royal. Shooting, like keeping it as a shoot, I probably had about 15 to 25 people there, you know, my friends, my family, my coworkers. Yeah, and it's like, you don't want to embarrass yourself.
No.
And so that's one side of it, right? And that's like a full big side. That's all the insecurities. Like that's me as a person. But then there's the other side of me. And that other side of me, Mike, is kind of what you just said was really running through my brain. These SOBs at somewhere else didn't think that I was ready. All these guys in the ring, some are from Dog Pound, some are from the dojo, some are from other training facilities. And none of them know what I can do, who I am, you know, am I any good, you know, and there's this part of me, and this is the bigger part of me, I'm ready to prove everybody wrong. Anybody, big time. I mean, because as you guys know, being wrestling fans, it's hard out there for a wrestling fan. You show up anywhere and anywhere in the world with a wrestling shirt on. Oh, you know, this is fake, or, you know, it's whatever, you know, and then you sit there and you tell people, oh, okay, well, I'm going to be a wrestler. What? No, you're this tiny little fat kid. There's no way you can be a wrestler. And so walking out of that curtain, getting in the ring with, I think there was 11 or 12 other guys, all that's going through my head is, prove to everybody that you freaking belong. And the moment that I put my hand, I don't even remember who I hit first. Okay, I really don't. It was like a mosh pit. And it was just like, I'm swinging on everybody that freaking moves.
It's a boom, ring bell, and you're going.
Go.
Yeah.
And so that was my mindset the entire time until I bumped. And so it's just like hit anything that moves. And then I backed into whiskey sour.
Oh.
And so whiskey sour and I had the face off in the middle of the ring where we're slapping the crap out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell y'all that first slap woke up everything inside of me, oh, dude, he's a great actor because I slapped the holy hell out of him. I mean, my hand was hurting. Felt like Booker T. I was like, damn.
He's looking at him.
Okay. But that first slap that whiskey gave me, I was just like, all those insecurities, all those, am I really not good enough? Can I really not do this? Mm-hmm. All that crap went away as soon as he slapped me because I was like, no. I could feel all eyes on us in the center of the ring, and the blood was flowing everywhere, boys. I mean, everywhere. I got off on it so much. Just the first slap, the second one, and then I felt like at that point, after we had the slap and I got his big ass over the top rope, I was like, okay. Like, getting him over the top rope was the end of the jitters. There was no more insecurity. We're here to play, and we're here to play hard, and we're here to play nasty, real nasty.
Hey, what I'm talking about. So during the show, we all tried to kind of keep up of who our picks were for the prediction show. And obviously I had you. And
that's right. Because you're a smart guy, Case.
Exactly. Big brain.
That's right.
There was a Nate Nasty chant going on, and I got so hyped. I was like, this is my guy right here. But, some people had to cheat and try to end careers, but we're not going to talk about that yet.
Yeah, we're not going to get to him yet. He's got his own problems, all right? Yeah. If anybody is following me on any of my social media, y'all know what my sing song is right now about Xavier Gotti. Caleb's gonna kill you.
That's right.
He's got to get through the big boy first.
Yeah, got Caleb Smalls and most importantly, Mr. Biggs at ringside, the boy taking on Lockjaw, and we cannot be more excited about it. So, like Michael had said, we sadly have some of our co-hosts out right now, but Jeffrey did send a question for you. If I can just find it.
Is Jeffrey a slime ball, or are we cool with Jeff?
I believe we're cool with Jeff, but I'm not positive.
All right, well, Jeff, as of this moment, we're cool with you. Don't screw up and open your mouth and ruin that, all
right? So he has two questions. His first one is, what era or time period of wrestling do you prefer? He gave examples: 80s, 90s, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, etc.
Okay. So let me plug this in before this dies. So if I had to choose one era of wrestling, it's going to be, and it's a super weird era. Not a lot of guys choose this era.
Okay.
It's January 2002 up until April 2004.
Okay.
So we're talking about the very first draft. We're talking about the NWO coming to the WWF at the time. This is like the end of the invasion angle. So getting a little more personal with you guys, this was actually the year, 2002 was the year that I was ungrounded from wrestling.
Oh, okay.
So I missed the entire invasion angle. All of the year 2001, I was banned from watching wrestling because, I was a nasty kid.
Nasty kid.
I was a nasty kid, okay? And so mom and dad were like, nah, dude, you can't watch wrestling. This is bad for you. And then the Royal Rumble comes, 2002, and they just let me watch it. I don't even remember what I did. I must have done some extra chores, taking out the trash or
wash
something.
the dishes.
Yeah, dude, I must have done something. But Pops was like, he can watch the Royal Rumble. It's just the Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. And then, just the Royal Rumble turned into Raw, turned into SmackDown, turned right back into the obsession that they already knew was there.
Yeah.
So that 2002 to 2004 era, so that's like, oh, dude, I could go on and on about those 2 years. The way that they did the draft that year, the way that the draft was supposed to originally be, with the one champion going to both shows, and then all the talent. So that was when I really got introduced to like Rob Van Dam, Eddie Guerrero more in depth, Rey Mysterio more in depth. Yeah, so that 2002 to 2004, that was like, to me, that's gold. That's gold.
Gotcha. That is a unique answer. Most people, I don't think I've heard that answer, really. Mike, you got anything? Before I get to Jeffrey's next question.
Yeah, so I think a huge part of wrestling is just the emotion it brings us individually, and what we take away from that wrestler. Maybe we see ourselves in that wrestler and that personality, the way they carry themselves. When people look at you, Nate, what do you want them to take away? How do you want them to feel? What do you want them to remember?
The obvious, easy answer would be, I want them to know that I'm nasty, right? that's the cliche answer that, if you want to use that for the sound bite, I get that. But the truth of the matter is, when they walk away from a Nate nasty Nate match, I want them to walk away and go, that son of a bitch was tough. Because I've been through so much and I've gone through so many hoops just to make this little bit happen. Because in the grand scheme of things, I haven't done anything yet. All right. I've got a few professional matches under my belt. Mm-hmm. I've got a great schedule coming up that includes Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, VCA Wrestling out in Memphis, Galactic Pro Wrestling in Castroville. I'm literally just getting started, but only so many people know how much I had to jump through to get here. So I want people to walk away from my matches going, he's tough. Win or lose, people are going to know that I'm tough. This kendo stick, this ain't just for my opponents. If this gets turned on to me, y'all best believe that I'm ready to take this and I'm ready to give it as well.
Fantastic answer. And I mean, obviously, all the greatest of pro wrestling, one thing you can say about them, they're tough. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin, for example, the Bret Hart match, he didn't tap out, he passed out. He was too tough. He would not let himself tap. That's just one example.
Right. But that is the example. Like that. So I know that you're a little younger, Case, but like that image, like imagine being 7 years old and you see Steve Austin's blood gushing. Mm-hmm. And he's from Texas, and I'm from Texas. He's from Victoria, Texas. And at the time, I'm in Houston, which is not very far from Victoria. So this is like the hometown boy. Yeah. And he's not quitting against the champ. He'd rather bleed and pat. Dude, yeah, no, that is the image. Like when people ask me, like that's the image, man. It's Steve Austin with the bloody face. It sounds morbid. And my Mimi hates it when I say it, but like I'm praying to God that I find somebody out there that gives me that image.
Hey,
like I hope to God there's somebody. Yeah, no, I hope to God there's somebody out there that thinks that they can get me to go that far. I don't think that there is yet. I know that we're going to talk about the 30th here in a little bit and Haas Holden, and we'll talk about Haas Holden when we get there and how I feel like he stacks up. But I'm praying to God that somebody in this state, in this region, in the country can get me that image.
Got you. So before we start getting into the show on the 30th, Jeffrey's second question was, who is on your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling all time? Is it strictly personal, favorite to watch, and which one influenced you to get into wrestling?
So that's a great question. That's a super unfair question because that's not even top 5, man. That's only top 4. So obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be on there. Shawn Michaels is going to be on there.
Okay.
I've actually got a pretty interesting history a little bit with Shawn Michaels. So when I was a kid, before I'd started training, I actually went to Bible class led by Shawn Michaels.
Oh, that's cool.
And so for, I think, 2 to 3 years, Shawn Michaels was a mentor in my life, completely unrelated to wrestling. So he knew I was a wrestling fan. He knew that my family was into wrestling, but the concentration was never on wrestling. It was about something bigger than that, a higher purpose. Shawn Michaels is the very first person that I ever legally got to drive their car. I had literally just gotten my driver's license, and Shawn had let me drive from Bible study to my home, which was like 6 or 7 miles. And he's got this beautiful Ford F-250. And he's like, you're gonna be okay though, right? You know? So Shawn is definitely on my Mount Rushmore. CM Punk.
Yes.
So see, I've got stories for everyone. I've got a reason for all of them. CM Punk was the first guy that showed me there was wrestling outside the WWE. I found CM Punk versus AJ Styles for the very first Ring of Honor Pure title. That was the match that introduced me to all the independents. Gotcha. And so I am a huge CM Punk fan. Just the way that he does, the way his own style is, the way that I'm all into CM Punk. I was one of those. I was one of those guys that I remember when he debuted on WWE CW, and I was like, "No, they're gonna ruin Punk. They're gonna ruin Punk." And sure as shit, man, they tried to ruin Punk.
They tried. Okay, so we have Austin, Michaels, and Punk.
Damn. So this fourth one. Man,
hey, this is yours. This isn't everybody. This is Nasty Nate's Mount Rushmore.
So let's man, it's so hard for me to go for like the fourth one, just because like I've got 4 that could easily be in the number 4 spot.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna make me go down to 1, for super personal reasons, it's gonna be Chris Jericho.
Okay.
So this one's actually completely unwrestling related as well. So for those that have read any of Chris Jericho's books, mainly the first one, A Lion's Tale, he goes super in depth about his mother and how his mother was, I believe, a paraplegic or maybe a quadriplegic. She lived her life in a wheelchair. My mother was not a quadriplegic or a paraplegic, but was always one step to being there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, like one bad fall and that's it. The end of my mother's life was lived in a wheelchair. And so that is something that deeply connects to me for obvious reasons. So I've got to give it to Jericho just because he also says in his book, it's a quote from Paul Stanley, the singer from Kiss, the only people that tell you can't achieve your dreams are the ones that tried and failed. And I've always been a huge Kiss fan as well. So learning that Jericho had this huge like obstacle to overcome and that it was almost the exact same obstacle that I had to overcome. It's got to be Jericho on the 4th.
Okay.
But
So
but
mainly
there's
they're
so many other
related.
guys that could go there too, though.
Yeah.
Like
Well, Jeffrey
guys like
also did ask for a top 5. So if you wanted to just plug a fifth one person in there, if you wanted to plug in a fifth one, I'll allow it.
well, look, swinging revolver door of 5.
Okay.
You got guys like Eddie Guerrero.
Mm.
You have guys like Chris Benoit. You have guys like the Sandman, Rob Van Dam. Obviously, y'all can tell the Sandman's a huge influence on me.
As I can tell with the kendo stick, yes.
With the cigarette, yeah. I was super blessed to actually meet the Sandman on this past road trip to Memphis. We also went to Wichita, Arkansas, or Wichita, Kansas, and Coach Rodney was on the same card as the Sandman. And Coach Rodney could already tell that I was a huge Sandman guy. He was like, hey, make sure that you take some time and go talk to him, pick his brain. And so I got to have a great 20-minute conversation with the Sandman before his match, after his match. So just guys like that, man, that whole 2002 to 2004 roster, man.
Got you. Mike, you have a question before we kind of get into the show?
Yeah, by the way, and at some point, I actually want you to step back. I want to get a full shot of you and that kendo stick.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to see it at the next show. Actually, at this point, why don't we just dig into it? So we have Nightmare at the Woodlawn, October 30th, San Antonio, Texas. I've seen that there's going to be a costume contest at the show. You had a huge turnout at the last show, a lot of friends and family. Any Halloween costumes that you can preview for us? Anything that you know about?
No, man. I don't. I know that I have a very special Halloween costume for myself. I know that my friends and family that have said that they're going to go to the show are talking about dressing up. I really can't wait to see all the costumes and the creativity that this town can bring out. I know that you guys are not from the San Antonio area, but let me tell you, when San Antonio decides we're going to party, we're going to freaking party, man. And so I really can't wait to have the biggest Halloween party in all of San Antonio that night, October the 30th, at the Woodlawn Gym, the historic Woodlawn Gym at that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, like we had mentioned, everyone, if you go to the show, obviously costumes are encouraged. They're going to be a contest. And if you happen to win, you may end up being on our page. I'm not going to say anything, but yeah, we'll figure it out after we get there. But definitely, if you go to the show, you're encouraged to wear a costume. It'll definitely be a good time. But speaking of costumes, how about we talk about the man that dresses up as a cowboy, Haas Holding?
Let's talk about Haas Holding.
So there's been a lot of smack talk on Facebook that I've seen. He's been talking a lot of smack. I have a couple of the comments here.
I'll read them. Read them for them all, please.
Okay, I will. So we have posted, obviously, hyping up this show that we're doing as right now. And he comments, it should start about like this. After the 60-year-old outlaw beats the crap out of me on the 30th, then maybe I can get a little traction.
Okay. That's cute, Don. That's cute, Haas.
And then we have one more that I had kept. It said, that's all cute and stuff, but you better be focused on the old 265-pound outlaw you have on the 30th. There may not be a lot left of you after that evening. Just saying. What are your response to those comments?
Well, so me and Haas Holding have a very long history that not a lot of people know about.
Okay.
Let me respond to his comments first. And I'll look directly at you, Haas Holding. Ain't nobody overlooking you. I see you. Your mama wasn't made of glass and neither is your big ass. We can all see you. Romping, stomping, making a big old rodeo everywhere you go. The people love you. You're wrestling's favorite grandpa right now. My grandpa died when I was 10. If I got to break your grandkids' hearts too, so be it. If they've got to push you to go trick-or-treating the next night, so be it. That's your problem, not mine. Haas Holding on the 30th, you're the first. And I know the post that he's talking about. There's a wrestling legend, an independent wrestling legend by the name of Gabe the Babe that I've become friends with over the years. And he's semi-retired from wrestling right now. And I'm making it my mission to get the Care Bear Gabe the Babe out in the ring one more time to go one-on-one with Nate Nasty. And so if Don's so insecure that he can't handle just one little post that's not concentrated about him, that's his problem. And come the 30th, Nasty Nate, I'm his problem too. All right. Now, me and Don, we go back. So I met Don at the same training facility that I met Rodney and Jazz.
Okay.
And
go back.
Haas Holden and I actually used to be training partners. We used to be, I would consider us friends. We used to be buddies. And then he leaves. Doesn't say a word. Just up and leaves. And then a few months go by. I don't hear anything from Don. I reach out, no response. And then I switch over to the Dog Pound Championship Wrestling Dojo. And who's the first person that I see but Haas Holding? And he just, oh, hey, what's going on, brother? Yeah, man, what's going on, brother? No response to text messages, phone calls. I reached out. I sacrificed personal time and effort to reach out to this man to make sure that he was okay, to make sure that he didn't give up on his dream. And he no responds me. He no text, no call, just, oh, hey, what's going on, brother? As soon as I walk into the room, nah, that BS fake small town gimmick crap, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And this list that I'm talking about, this list of guys that I'm wanting to wrestle, Haas Holding was actually at the top. In fact, at one time, I would have told you that Haas Holding was in the top 5 of guys that I was super excited to wrestle.
Oh.
And then all this BS goes down, right? He big leagues me. He acts like he's better than me. He thinks that just because a bunch of freaking little kids all across the state see their grandpa in the ring when they see Haas Holding, that he's some sort of big shot. Dude, you're not Garth Brooks. You're not Kenny Chesney. You're not John Wayne. You're not even Johnny Cash. Hell, you're not even Johnny Knoxville.
Oh.
But you are a jackass, Haas. But you are a jackass. Okay. And so Haas Holding goes from top 5 guys that I want to wrestle. And now he switched over onto a different list. See, there's guys like Gabe the Babe. There's guys like Chino Reyes, like Iggy Madness Mendoza. Those are guys I want to wrestle. Haas Holding, you've entered onto another list. You're on a list of people I want to hurt. It's not about proving who's better in the ring. I already know I'm better. I'm younger, I'm faster, I'm tougher, and I don't have a limit. There's no pain that I can't take. There's nothing that I can't do. But Haas, you're old. You're limited. Now, I'll say this though, all right? The man is tough as nails. The dude is the leather belt that your dad beat your ass with. All right. It just gets harder and harder the longer it stays in the house. Okay. So I'm going to give him that. The dude is tough as nails, but he ain't tougher than me. I don't care that he's the 60-year-old rookie. I don't care that all the little kids love him. Oh, Haas Holding. Shut the hell up. If you want to cheer for your grandpa, go to the old folks home and watch the Rocher or the cricket match. Okay. Haas Holding is coming to the Woodlawn Gym to get hurt. And it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be this technical masterpiece. You're not getting Briscoe Funk come the 30th. All right. You're getting some street fighting, hard hitting action. because I'm coming out here to hurt him. And that's a shoot. I'm taking the man and I'm hurting him and I'm putting an end to this 60-year-old rookie. And he can go romp and stomp his way in the old folks' home and pinch the little nurse's butt cheeks and hope to God that they give him the right flavor of pudding that he wants that night.
Oh, man. What I'm hearing is
you got me hot now. You got me so hot, you're gonna make me chain smoke, okay?
Oh,
because
man.
this dude pisses me off because he's from this generation, right? Oh, we talk tough and we are tough. The dude is a keyboard warrior. Straight up a keyboard warrior. He talks all this trash on Facebook. He's not smart enough to work Instagram or Twitter, okay? Good luck asking him to be a part of this podcast because there's no way he's figuring out how to work Zoom. All right.
Oh,
he's in the wrong.
Mentioned earlier.
Now to give him credit, he picked up a victory at Strictly Business against Caleb Smalls with Mr. Biggs in his corner, and I'm sure you were watching that match closely. Was there anything you saw in that match that you take away as you go into your matchup with Haas?
So I saw a lot in that match with Big Caleb, all right? But me and Caleb are very different. I have nothing, and I have nothing but respect for the big and small connection, okay? Those guys, those are my brothers, all right? But Caleb made a few small mistakes. Caleb underestimated Don. Caleb thought that this was just an old man who wasn't going to be able to get the job done. I'm not of that mindset. Am I going to call him old and get under his skin? Absolutely. But this old man is shoe leather, guys. I'm talking horseshoe leather. And seeing the route that Caleb went with Haas Holden, I've got a completely different game plan. I've actually seen Haas Holden wrestle a few times all throughout the state, and everybody seems to have like the same sort of game plan against Haas Holden. I'm bringing something that Haas has never seen before. All right. I mentioned Johnny Knoxville and I mentioned the Jackass Boys. Okay. I know that's still a little past Don's, age, mind capacity.
It's not Gunsmoke.
You're right. It's not Gunsmoke. It's not Dallas. Okay. But those are the guys that I watched growing up. And so anything that you saw on MTV's Jackass, I saw too. The difference is that I said I can do that and that I can't get hurt and I don't get hurt. And come the 30th at the Woodlawn Gym, Haas Holden, you're getting hurt.
Oh, man. What it's sounding like is that you're going to out-tough Haas Holding.
That's damn right. Because you got to remember, guys, I'm 5'9". I'm 203 pounds. In the wrestling industry, I'm a small guy.
Mm-hmm.
Haas Holden, I think, is like 6'1", 6'2". He said he's 260, 270. We all know he pushing 315. Okay. But that don't matter to me. There's other guys out there like Soda Pop Hendricks, who is an amazing athlete. I mean, top notch. You guys saw his match. That dude's another level. He really is. I don't care. He can be faster than me. Haas Holding's not faster than me. Haas Holding's stronger than me. When you've been carrying around as much weight as he has his entire life, you're going to be strong. All right. But he's not tough. He's not as tough as me. He doesn't have the same extra gear that I have. He's a 4-cylinder and I'm a V8. All right. And that's just the simple facts of life. I'm younger, I'm tougher, I'm better looking, and I've got a limit that nobody's found. Nobody in my entire life, whether it be bullies, friends, prank artists, lovers, dads, all right? I ain't scared of nothing. Only thing I'm scared of is a black bear, because a black bear just don't give a. It's a family show. It's a family show.
Exactly. Friends of Fury, PG most of the time. Depends on the guest.
Most of the time. But so I'm not scared of Ghost, Goblins, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Chucky, Freddy. Bring them all on. All I need is a smoke. And I'm prepared. And I'm ready.
Heck yeah. October 30th, the historic Woodlawn Gym. It sounds like Nate Nasty is ready to take out Haas Holding Old Yeller style. So.
All right. Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, so Nate Nasty, Haas Holding, that's going to be a great matchup. While we got you on the show, we want to get your reaction. There's been some huge announcements from Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. Teddy Long is the new executive vice president for DPCW. We've also had
holla.
We've also got Charlie Haas and Demo set to make an appearance. Want to get your reaction to some of these huge pickups.
Ginormous. I mean, you're talking about legends. I mean, are we talking about Steve Austin and The Rock? No. But going back to earlier in the interview, you guys asked me what's my favorite era of wrestling. And I pretty much said the Ruthless Aggression era.
Yeah.
Charlie Haas was a big part of that. The Team Angle, the world's greatest tag team. Charlie Haas is one of the guys that from an in-ring standpoint, I freaking study. I study. I don't just watch his matches. I rewind. I slow it down. The things that I'm looking forward to learning in the ring from guys like Demos, like Manimal, like Charlie Haas. It's an opportunity that can't be understated enough. At the same time, and I'm going to stick on these three guys right now because these are the three active guys in the ring. These are guys that are being brought in for me to prove myself against. All right. Don't let the attitude, don't let the cigarette, don't let the stick fool you. I am a professional wrestler and I can wrestle and I will wrestle. I ain't going to wrestle Haas Holden because that's a different story. That's personal. That's going to be a dog fight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But guys like Charlie Haas, like Manimal, like Demos, these are guys that I'm so looking forward to stepping into the ring with and testing my own self and my own limits and skills. Because that's right. Because these are guys that are way better than me, or way better than the dudes that I'm around. And the only way to get better is to work with people that are better. And so for us to be bringing in those guys, I know that once I'm done with Haas Holden and put him out to the woodshed, these are guys that are in my radar, that I'm dying, that I'm itching to look forward to fighting and to wrestling. And then outside of the ring, we got the Mac Militant, the longest SmackDown general manager of all time. We got Mr. Holla Holla Holla, Teddy Long. Teddy Long has been in this industry longer than all three of us have been alive. The dude has forgotten more about professional wrestling than we've all ever known. So I'm so looking forward to getting some one-on-one time with Teddy Long, getting to sit down with one of the best minds in wrestling and just pick. I'm gonna go through half a freaking pack of smokes just sitting there talking to that guy. So I'm gonna be like,
Yeah. Keep giving me more.
Give me more, Teddy. So for Dog Pound to be bringing in these guys, this is a phenomenal opportunity, not just for me. I'm selfish, all right? So of course I'm thinking about me first, but for all the Dog Pound Dojo guys, bringing in all of these talents that are way more experienced, way more knowledgeable about this life. All right, because that's what this is. To anybody listening that isn't sure, this is a whole freaking life. The moment that Coach Rodney Mack asked me if I had boots and gears, my entire life completely changed. I still have a job, yeah, but I have a job that's very supportive and is very encouraging of my goals and dreams, and knows that my goal isn't to be a regional manager or to do this or do that within the company. My goal is to use my job to where I don't ever have to work again because I'm too busy kicking ass and taking names all across the world. But the focus, the mindset of, okay, this is real now. This is a lifestyle. And for me to pick the brains of guys like Charlie Haas, Teddy Long, Rodney Mack, Jazz, Damos, Manimal, even current Ring of Honor six-man champion Khan.
Yeah.
AEW Dark Star Matty Rankowski. Okay, to pick their brains and just learn. Guys like Alex Arsenal. These are guys and people and men and women that are going to teach me and everybody at Dog Pound how to be right here and move it up right here. And then I'm going to take what they teach me and go from right here to right here.
Exactly. Always need to continue leveling up within professional wrestling. That's just how you do it. So before we wrap up the show, is there anything you want to tell the audience for Dog Pound Championship Wrestling ahead of the show on the 30th?
Yeah, so if you guys are thinking about doing anything else on Saturday, October the 30th, I'm telling you right now, you're messing up. This is a family show, so I'm not going to say how I really feel, but for those of y'all that have a working brain, y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all messing up big. There is not going to be another wrestling show, not a party, not a rave, not a concert, no Halloween, nothing. October the 30th, Saturday at the historic Woodlawn Gym, you're going to see the best professional wrestling that Texas has to offer. And I'm saying that knowing that there's other shows running that night. And if you're choosing to go to one of those other shows, you're wasting your money, your time, and your energy, because it's at Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, Woodlawn Gym, the Nightmare on the Woodlawn, that you're going to see the best Texas style wrestling that the entire state is offering that night. And not just that night, but we're also coming back in November to the Woodlawn Gym. And I promise you again, you're not only going to see Nate Nasty, but you're going to see the best that Dog Pound Championship Wrestling has to offer. Because these spots on these shows, these are not just like given out, okay? If you guys saw the talent that's sitting inside the dojo that's not getting used right now, guys like Bino Blue that are ready to come out and freaking tear apart all of this, y'all would understand how precious and how hard these spots on these shows are to really get. None of us got lucky. None of us are coach's favorites. No, coach can tell who's working and who's not working, who's putting in the work outside and who's not. And to all the guys, not just at the Dog Pound Dojo, but at all the training schools in Texas, put in the work. Put in the work, get your shit together, and be a professional. And you can get here too. Because if I can turn what I was going through a divorce. I didn't have a place to live. I didn't have a job for the majority of the year. And I put all that crap aside and focused solely on wrestling. And now I'm here and now I'm doing it. And now I am a professional wrestler. And on the 30th of October, you can come see me be a professional wrestler. And you can come see me kick Haas Holdings' ass, along with seeing Caleb kill Xavier Gotti, along with Coach Rodney Mack, Manimal, Damos, Charlie Haas, Alex Arsenal. So many guys, small, big, medium, they're all going to be at this show. And the best part about Dog Pound Championship Wrestling is that we've got a little bit for everybody. You ain't gonna find me saying much nice about him, but we've even got Texas's favorite freaking grandpa on the card, all right? Because between us guys, I'm pretty sure we catch a tax break. I'm pretty sure there's something about hiring senior citizens that gets the company itself a small financial break in taxes. So You know, we've got a little bit of, we got Stewie the Clown. Did you guys get a chance to meet Stewie the Clown?
We did. I was actually working Luke 9's merch table right next to him, actually.
Dude's terrifying.
Absolutely.
I don't mess with clowns. All right. I ain't like Pennywise. I didn't like Frank. All right. I don't like no clowns. Stewie the Clown, I just keep my distance from. All right. I'm not trying to mess with that dude. That's a scary hombre. And for those of y'all that don't speak Mexican, that means brother.
Speaking of scary, everybody, please check out Dog Pound Championship Wrestling Nightmare at the Woodlawn, October 30th in the historic Woodlawn Gym. Thank you all for watching the show. I've been Case. We've had Michael, and thank you so much to Nate Nasty for joining the show. Appreciate you so much, brother. And we will see you next episode. Peace.